Hi, I am Sohail and welcome to the fifth video in the series Python for Beginners. In this video, we are going to learn about loops in Python. So what are loops? Loops is a programming structure that repeats a sequence of instructions until a specific condition is met. For example, I have a list and I want to print all the elements in the list. So, example, my list is num 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements in the list. I want to print each element in the list. So I'll write a print statement. Print num of 0, which is the first element in the list. Then print num of 1, which is second element in the list, and print num of 4, which is the last element in the list. So this is okay if I have a small list like 5 elements, 4 elements. What if my list has 100 elements? Like it has the name of all the students in a classroom. So if I want to print each person name, the print statements will go on increasing and the code will look bulkier. So instead of having this way, we can make use of loops. So I'll write a function called loop and then just give a print statement. Print num of I, which is I is nothing but the element in the loop. So this code is going to repeat multiple times. So if I have 100 elements in the list, it will repeat. The loop will go on repeating 100 times. So this is advantages of loops. It will reduce my code to just 2 lines, and also it will look simpler. So in Python there are basically 2 types of loops. One is for loop and other is a while loop. So along with this, we are going to see some other functions like range, break and continue statements, and some sample codes. So the first loop that we are going to look into is the for loop. So for loop is nothing but if there is a list or a string, it is going to iterate through all the elements in the list or a string. So suppose I have an example called fruits list, which has following fruits name. So I want to go to each element of this list and then print it. So I'll use a for loop. The for is the keyword, and I'll define an element fruit. So each element in the fruit is list is going to get saved in this variable called as fruit. Then in is the keyword which is going to look into the array or list fruits, and it will have a semicolon. Then I'll have print statement and I'll print the fruit name. So let's save this .py and I'll just go to my command prompt python for_example.py. So now you see it has print all the elements, mango, banana, and apple, whatever I have defined in the list called as fruits. So earlier, if you see, if I had to just go through the list, I was using the index value, but with loops I can write a single code and print all the elements in the list. So even I can go through a set of strings. Suppose I have a string called as x equal to, and it has value banana. So I'll write a for loop. I'll define a variable I. In is another keyword, and then it is going to go through the variable x, and I'll just print value I. So let us save the same script. I should have the values, all the fruit names, and also banana split. So you can see banana is been printed out in the console. So next we'll look into break keyword. So what this break will do is If there is a break statement, it will stop the loop before it goes through the all the items in the list. So let's see how it works. I'll just remove my modify my script. So I have fruit in X, then I'll just write an if statement. Just write an if statement. If fruit equal to banana, then I'll use the keyword to break the loop. So let's see what it prints now. Just so it has traversed only to mango and banana. Since if the fruit is equal to banana, it has break. It is not going to continue. The for loop is not going to continue further. So apart from break statement, we have one more command that is called as continue. So what continue will do is it will find it will continue to traverse through the list if it has any of the keyword matching. So I'll just replace break with continue. So now if the list has banana, then it will continue, else it is going to break. So let's see how this works. So the list had the banana, so it has continued to go through list. Suppose instead of this, if I don't have banana, I have something orange. See what would be the output. The output would be mango, banana, orange. So it is not matching any keyword. So it is continuing. It is like it will act as a normal function. So next we are going to discuss is about the range function. So range is an inbuilt function in Python. So what this range function do is it is going to return a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default and increment in the step of 1, which is default, and ends at the specified number. So it is the syntax will be something like range start value, then stop value or the end value, and the step. So let's take an example. For I in range, I'll have start value as 0. By default, if you don't pass any start value, it is going to start with 0. Then stop value, I'll give it as 8. So it will traverse to 8 before 8 will be stop value. So it is going to print me something from 0 to 7. And step value, I'll give it as 1. So the increment will be in 1. And I'll just print the element I or the variable I. Let's save the script range .py. Let's go to my command prompt, git range python underscore python range .py. So as you see, it is going to print from 0 to 7, whichever we have defined in our range function. So suppose now I can change my start value to 2. So my print statement should begin with 2 and end at 7 with step value of 1. Just print it. So you see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Suppose I want to increment my step value. I'll increment it by 2. So now I should have my first element should be 2. Then increment is by 2. So next 2 plus 2 will be 4. Then next would be 6, and then last before 8 it has to stop. So I just saved it. Go again. So you see it is going to print 2, 4, 6. So as I informed, if we don't pass this values, if I just keep as 8, it is going to take default start value as 0 and default step value as 1. So see, it is going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So continuing with the for loop, we have even else keyword for loops. So like in if condition fails, it is going to go for else. Here also, when the for loop is completed, we can go to else part to execute another statement. So we can see the keyword as else, and I'll just print as for finished. So once the for loop prints all the elements from 0 to 7, it has come to else part and it is going to print the else statement. So let us go to our execution and print it. So you can see that Python script, once 0 to 7 is printed, it has gone to my for loop to print the for statement, that is for finished. So the next part under for loops is the nested loops. So nested for loops. So nested for loops is nothing but a for loop within a loop. So like we had nested if, similar is the for loop. So let's execute nested loops with an example. So I have an array called as color equal to red, green and suppose blue. Then I have another list called as fruits equal to apple, orange and banana. Okay, so for nested for will go as for x in color. Then I'll define one more for y in fruits, print x comma y. So how this will work is, first it will go in the color list and it is going to take the element red, it's going to print red, and then it is going to go to the second list, that is my fruits list, and it is going to traverse to all the elements in this list. Okay, and then once this list is over, it is going to go again to this topper loop and it will take the next element in the loop, that is green. Again it will go into the second loop, that is my fruits loop, and it is going to traverse all elements in the loop, apple, orange and banana. So let's save this and run nested for.py. So if I execute here, Python nested for.py, so you see the outcome. It is going to print red with apple, orange and banana. Then it is going to go for green, apple, orange and banana. Then it's going to go for blue, apple, orange and banana. So this is the output: red, apple, orange, banana with green, apple, orange, banana with blue. So with this we complete our for loop. Now we are going to see what are while loops. While loop. So with while loop, we can execute a set of statements as long as the condition is true. What I mean is, like, it is like if condition. So the boolean condition, if it's true, the while loop is going to execute, else it is going to come out of the loop. So let's see an example. I'll declare a variable I first, and then I'll have while. The syntax is almost same, is less than some number, say 6, then print I, and I'm going to increment my I value, I equal to I plus 1, or you can write it in a shorthand way, I plus equal to 1. So both means the same, so I'll just save this while underscore example dot py. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my prompt. I'll go to Python while underscore. So you see it is going to print 1 2 3 4 5 since this condition is met. I is 1 and I is less than 6, so it is going to print the I value. Like we had break statement and continue statement for loops, we have the same in while loops as well. So let's see an example for that. So I'll use same thing, print. I'll just check if I equal to 3, then break, and then I'll increment my I value. So let's see how the output goes. So I think with this statement, once I is equal to 3, it will has to print me 1 2 3. It should not go beyond that. So Python while.example, yeah, as expected the output is 1 2 3. Since I am checking, I am breaking if there is 3 value in my while statement. So similarly there is continue. So the continue statement will, if this condition is met, the script will continue. So now I think I should get all the elements 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. So here I am getting continuous 3s because once I equal to 3, it is going to check I equal to 3 continue, and it is going to go back and it is going to print 3 continuously. So the loop is going to be an endless. So I'll have to modify this code a bit. I'll just remove this here and I'll have I this here. So it will increment my I and then it will print it. So I will start modify my code as I equal to 0. So I should get the values 1 2 3 up to 5. Otherwise it will start from 0. So let us save this and let's execute it again. So yeah, now I am getting my values 1 to 6. So moving on, we saw break and while, break and continue. So similarly we have else code, else part, else keyword in for while as well. So let's see an example for that. So I equal to 1 and while I is less than 6, print I, and then I'll have I plus equal to 1, else I'll print I is no longer less than 6. So yeah, once this while loop execute it, when I is 1, it will go into, it will check the condition I is less than 6, it will go print my I, increment my I value, I will go to 2, then it will print, it will become 3 4 5 6. So since 6 is not less than 6, it is going to break and come to else part, and it is going to print the statement. So let us execute it. While.exe. Okay, some syntax error since I'm missing here colon. I'll save it, go back to my command prompt. Yeah, so you see it's printing 5 and I is no longer less than 6. As earlier, I can even print this value here, percentage I. So it is going to print that 6 is not less than 6 anymore. Yeah, 6 is no longer less than 6. So this was all about the loops in Python. So now let's take a look at a sample script. So before wrapping up, let's look at a couple of sample scripts. So I have written couple of sample scripts. Let me open them. So the first one that I'm going to show you is sum of all the elements in the list. So if you remember, we have an inbuilt function called as sum that will give me the sum of all the elements in the list. So this is an inbuilt function, so we can write the same inbuilt function using for and while loop. So let's see what I have written here is I have defined a list called as num list, and I am defining a variable called as total. So this is going to give the total will have the all the sum of these values. So I'm writing a for loop. So I'm defining a variable element in a range function, and the range is starting from 0 and till it will be length of the num list. So the length of this list will be 5, so the range will go from 0 to 5. So the total is nothing but total plus num list of elements. So num list of element is nothing but it is going to go at 0 value 0. It is going to take the 5 element and it is going to add up to total. Then my element is going to go to the next element and it will go on adding it to the total value. So similarly I have written the same using while loop. So I am defining two variables, I equal to 0 and total equal to 0. So if my I is less than the length of my num list, then I am having total added up to the index value of the num list, and then I'm incrementing my I. So and I've given the same I've tried with sum of num list. So let's see what is the output of this, if it is matching for all the three or not. So Python sum of list. So you see sum of the list and element is 42 using for loop, 42 is using while loop also, and it is same when we use sum function. So this is one example of using a for and while loop. I have written one more script which is one of the most important number series, that is called as Fibonacci numbers. So how Fibonacci number works is if you have given a number, it is going to print a series where the sum of first two number is going to be a equal to third number. So by default the series starts with 0 and 1, that will be my first two elements. Then the third will be sum of 0 and 1, the fourth will be sum of second and third, and it will go on. So here in the script I am defining a range. I am taking an input number from the user, and I am using a for loop first to find the Fibonacci series. So here if you see I am defining by default a and b equal to 0 and 1. So this two I am going to print as it is. So this is one more way of defining variables. Like multiple variables we can define in single line, or you can define it in separate lines as well. Then I am writing a while loop where if a is less than or equal to the number which the user is passing, then what I am doing is I am printing the a. So here a is 0, 0 is less than, suppose number is 5, so it is going to print 0. Then it is going to assign a equal to b, and b will be sum of a plus b, that will be 0 plus 1. So now again the loop is going to go. So now since a is assigned equal to b, which is nothing but 1, it will check 1 is less than the number which is 5, it will print 1, and then again the a is going to get assigned to b. So b, which was nothing but a plus b earlier, which was 1, so again it will be 1, and b will get incremented to a plus b, so which will be 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So this loop goes on completing until the number a is less than the number which we are calling. So same thing I have written with for loop. So for is number in range, that is 0 is the default range, and number which the user is passing in. I am checking if a is less than or equal to the number, then it is going to print a, and then the same function carries on, whichever I have defined in while loop. So let's execute this script. Python Fibonacci series. So I'll enter a number as 10. So you see it gives me output using while is 0, 1, which I am printing by default. Then the third number is nothing but sum of first two numbers 0 and 1. 2 is nothing but sum of these two numbers, 3 is nothing but sum of these two numbers, 5 is 3 plus 2, 8 is 5 plus 3. So same is done using for loop as well. So the output, if you compare, is similar. So this is the famous Fibonacci series example. So with this I am completing my video tutorial for loops. If you have any queries or any questions regarding to any of the videos or any of the topics, you can put your comments. Also, if you want to have me improve on anything or any other feedback, you can paste it in your comments and I can get back to you. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good day.